Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for Friday, May 16th. We got a big slate to go over, and it looks like it's going to be a fun one. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all, one low price. Now, let's dive in and let's check out this slate. We are going to skip the review because the main slate was just yesterday day and only 4 games. So we're just going to save the time and dig in to this big boy 12-game slate, starting by pitchers, and then we'll look at some stacks to consider. Now, 18% owned Chris Sale is your highest owned pitcher. He is only 8,900. We have him at just below a 17-point projection. The consensus, however, is up to just below 20, and he is your highest projected pitcher on the consensus. Now, Chris Sale has been absolutely incredible the last couple games. Got touched up a little bit here versus Pittsburgh, but versus Cincinnati, 6.2 earning, 2 innings, 0 earned runs, 10 Ks. Had 10 Ks versus Colorado in Colorado. And the big difference is he changed his arm slot a little bit. And with that, his K rate shot back up again. He added a couple mile an hour in velocity here. And he has been the guy that we thought he would be to start the year again. That Cy Young caliber Sale is back. It's definitely something to keep watching as long as that arm slot stays where it was last year. Things look real good for him. And I don't mind a little bit of him. Boston has been a boom-bust offense. They can strike out a lot. However, they have been absolutely crushing lefties. 316 average, 166 ISO, only striking out at 22% over the last 20. However, those splits over the last 150, much worse. 244 average, 147 ISO, striking out at almost 26%. So I do think there is some reason to have some interest here, especially at only 9K, 27.2% combined K rate. Next, we got Taj Bradley, 7K, 17% owned, second highest owned guy. He's versus the Marlins. We know the upside is there. We see these games of, 7Ks come together, but he's struggled recently. Maybe this last game, he started putting things together again. StatCast data looks good. The FIPS are less than desirable there, but he's still trying to figure things out at the big league level. The ceiling makes sense to want to get some, but his last history is a little scary. Price is right. It's just, do you want to go down to that price? I don't necessarily think you need to, as there's a lot of pitchers today that aren't that high a price. I mean, you could go Chris Sale and Mackenzie Gore, and you're not really paying up for pitching that much. I think there's some other ways to go where you don't have to go to 7K. But being said, we have him at a 2.3x value. He's a decent value at the consensus. It makes some sense to want to go there. Next, we got Corbin Burnes, 9,100 versus Colorado in Arizona. Corbin Burnes hasn't been great. He has a FIP of 4 over the last 20, a FIP of 4.22 over the last 5. The K rate isn't that high. StatCast data, however, has been great recently. So maybe he is turning the corner. I don't mind a little bit. This Colorado team striking out over the last 150 games at a 26% clip versus righties, 22% over the last 20. I think there's upside in the spot because Corbin Burnes can be efficient. He can go 7 innings. He can strike out 6-7 guys, and that can pay off the 9,100 versus Colorado. I don't absolutely love the spot, but I don't mind if I'm getting some either. There's enough upside there that I don't mind it at that price. Next, we got Mackenzie Gore, 8,600 versus the Baltimore Orioles. Now, there is weather to be worried about here in this game. We need to watch it. But if this game plays, it's also really good hitting weather. We got winds blowing out. We got warm weather. the likelihood of a home run definitely is elevated, but this Baltimore Orioles team has not been able to hit lefties whatsoever. So I think Mackenzie Gore is very interesting for that. Over the last 20 games, 186 average and a .070 ISO for the Baltimore Orioles versus lefties. Gore has to be considered with that type of output coming out from Baltimore. Then you add in, over the last 5 starts, 36% K rate. Over the last 20, 28.6. I think there's big time upside at 8,600, and it's a spot you need to look at. However, make sure you look at weather. There is major weather concerns in this game, and it's one of the prime ones we need to watch. Next, we got Garrett Crochet, 10.6K, 15% owned versus the Braves. Dude has been, electric for the last year and a half. 3.14 FIP over his last 20, 2.89 over his last 5. The K rate is around 30%. StatCast data looks good. Team splits. This Braves team can't hit lefties. So it's extremely interesting here. He's at home. 26% combined K rate. A lot of reasons to want to go there. This game, while there is nice hitting weather, has 2 very good pitchers. Next, we got Cole Reagans, 9,300 versus the St. Louis Cardinals. The issue here is it does look like we could have some big time wind blowing out, and it is warm. So the hitting weather is interesting here. This Kansas City stadium, when the conditions are like this, kind of turns into the Midwest Colorado or Coors Field. So there is absolutely more potential for runs in this game, but Cole Reagans has been incredible. He has been better than Garrett Crochet, and he's 1K cheaper, so I think you need to consider him. And this Cardinals team doesn't scare me all that much. However, they are much better versus lefties than the Braves. 2.56 or .256 average, 190 ISO, striking out at 23%. So they've been hitting lefties fairly hard. I don't mind some Reagans, though. He's too cheap not to consider, and that upside is just electric. It is huge. Now, let's get into some pivot guys. Under 14% owned guys. Logan Webb, 9,700 versus the A's. We have seen the A's are boom bust. They have been boom bust for the last couple years. And Webb has just been incredible this season. 2.55 FIP over his last 5, 24% K rate. Great. But this year, over the last 5 starts, 1.77 FIP and a 30% K rate. The guy is striking out guys. He's striking out at 10.57 per 9 over the season. Over the last month, 11.2. He's been incredible. His StatCast data looks good. The splits do favor the A's a little bit, though. But Logan Webb is talented enough that you need to consider him in all situations. And the game is in at the Giants Stadium, not in Sacramento at the A's. So there is a nice, plus pitcher park there as well. Nathan Eovaldi, 10.4K, 10% owned versus the Astros. Eovaldi has been electric lately, 1.58 FIP over his last 5 with a 31% K rate. And he faced the Dodgers, the Giants, the A's, the Red Sox, and the Tigers. 5 good teams. 5 teams that can hit, and he has been incredible. Now, Astros are decent, only striking out at 19% versus righties. They have almost 280 average, 150 ISO. Not a team you really want to face, but the guy has just been too good not to consider. And going low owned, I gotta put some bullets in that chamber there for Eovaldi. I think he's an interesting pivot with big time upside. Next, we got Joe Ryan, 9,500 versus the Brewers. There are a lot of pitchers, high-end pitchers we want today. And Joe Ryan's another interesting one, 3.87 FIP over the last 20, 28% K rate. Over the last 5, 3.36, 34% K rate. His StatCast data is less than desirable, though. He's 45% fly balls, 11 barreled balls out of 59 batted balls. People are barreling him up at a pretty high clip there. So that's a little scary, Milwaukee can definitely get it done. They're averaging, Ryan is, however, averaging the 23% less fantasy points away. So that is a little bit scary there. The splits are in Ryan's favor. BVP data is not enough to really consider it, and 26% combined K rate. Absolutely interesting. Next, we got Dustin May, 7,200. I'm very interested in this spot as a pay down option. May has been very good, 3.99 FIP over his last 20, 4.25 over his last 5, 21% K rate. StatCast data hasn't been great over the short run here, but I don't mind some May. He has some electric stuff and the Angels, 211 average versus righties. The ISO is up there. They can hit a home run or two, but May is super good and they strike out a lot. So I think the strikeout rate really elevates his chances to be one of the optimal pitchers today. And at 7,200, I am absolutely interested in taking some swings there versus the Angels. Next, we got Carlos Rodon, 10.1K. Look, I don't want to go against the Mets, but Rodon has kind of been the guy of old lately. 2.72 FIP with a 32% K rate. Over the last 20, it's 3.96 and a 30% K rate. Too many fly balls, but StatCast data looks great outside of that. Splits are very good for the Mets, though. 2.81 average, 180 ISO. They're hitting the ball hard. They're getting on base, not striking out a lot. Not a team you want to face. But Rodon has been very, very good. And he's super low owned. So if he ends up in lineups, I'm fine with a little bit. Next, Jack Flaherty, 8K versus the Toronto Blue Jays. All right. 55 plate attempts. They're hitting 143 off him, striking out at 32%. Meanwhile, Flaherty is only 8K. This is a guy that generally is 9, 10K. He hasn't been great lately. 5.96 FIP over his last 5, but still a 27% K rate. Over the last 20, 4.96, 23% K rate. We know this guy can get it done. He was great to start the year last year. End was a little less than desirable there, but all in all, there's a big time ceiling, and you're getting a guy that could hit 30 at 8K. I'm willing to take some shots here, especially at going pretty much unowned. Hard for me not to want a little bit of Flaherty in this spot when he's this cheap, with a solid ceiling, and he gets you different. So all of that I like. Now let's get over to FanDuel. Let's check out the high owned here. And we got Chris Sale, Corbin Burns. All right, we got Chris Sale. Corbin Burns, your high owned at 9.9K. Chris Sale next at 9.6K. Then Garrett Crochet at 10.8. Logan Webb at 10.6. Then where it starts really become low owned is Reagan's 10.8, 7% owned. Evaldi, 10.5, 5% owned. Dustin May at 8.2. And 3% owned is super interesting to me, as well as Mackenzie Gore. Again, we got to watch for weather in that game, but it's interesting. And then in play is absolutely Ryan and Flaherty to me as well. Now, let's dig into some stacks, see what we got here, and see how it all plays out here. So, our highest owned stack, we got the Dodgers. Look, it is a 12-game slate, and they're almost 76% owned as far as their high-owned stack. That is that is up there. That's pretty high-owned for a 12-game slate. I don't mind having a little bit of them. I think you can get different elsewhere. So I don't mind playing some of them. They're in a decent spot. Jack has been allowing a 5.08 FIP, 5.58 over the last 5. The bullpen behind him is terrible. I think you got to absolutely consider them. And the Dodger lineup has started hitting well. Highest projected, we got Dodgers and we got Arizona. Arizona needs to be considered. This Colorado bullpen's bad. Their starting pitching's bad. We don't even know who the starter is yet. Arizona's in a fine spot. Our highest value, we got Colorado versus Corbin Burns. Like I said, Corbin Burns hasn't been that good lately, so makes some sense to want to go there. Dodger value stack. Super interesting here. Muncy, He's hit 2 home runs in a row in back-to-back games. Andy Pages has been hitting very well. Outman has been on fire lately. Kim has been incredible since joining the Dodgers team and getting called up from AAA. Conforto has been pretty bad, but at least he's hitting 400 over the last week. Maybe that's turning around. His StatCast data is starting to look a little bit better, hitting 48% hardball. So I think the Dodger value stack, which isn't that high owned, becomes very, very interesting too. It could be a way to get different and still, pay down a little bit. Don't mind that one. Highest ceiling, of course, it's going to show Dodgers. Highest leverage, Yankees versus Tyler McGill. I think that makes a ton of sense. McGill, while good, still a fit before in this Yankees lineup, can definitely get to some guys. Cardinals versus Ravens. I don't like going against Ravens, but hey, this game has some very nice hitting weather. There's absolutely some opportunity there. A's versus Logan Webb. Don't love facing Logan Webb, but they're going unowned, and we know they have some pop in those bats. And Joe Ryan's StatCast data looks a little iffy. Maybe he can get got once. Don't totally hate it. Now our highest team totals, we got Arizona at 5.8, Dodgers at 5.8. Both need to be considered, especially Arizona since they're a little lower owned. Yankees, 4.8. We already talked about them. We like that. Baltimore at 4.7 versus Gore. I think this one's very interesting. I don't understand Vegas having them at a 4.7 implied total. They have not been able to hit lefties. I like the Gore side of that more than I like the Baltimore. However, there is hitting weather, so you need to consider that as well. KC at 4.6 versus Palante. Palante's been solid, but also another hitting weather spot. San Diego versus Logan Evans, 4.95 FIP in his very limited career. Don't mind going there a little bit. Texas makes a ton of sense versus McCullers. McCullers has not been good for a while. He has a FIP of 7 over his last 5 starts. Hard hit is high. Average exit velocity is high. I don't mind some there. Tampa Bay at Miami. Max Meyer hasn't been good of late. High average exit velocity. Bullpens, meh. Don't mind going there. Detroit, 4.3. Washington, 4.3. I think Washington at 4.3 with Cade Bovich on the mound is super, super interesting with this hitting weather we got in Washington. I think they probably are going a bit under-owned there. And that will do it for us today. Absolutely interested in Washington. They are probably my favorite lower-owned stack here. And then definitely going to be playing some Detroit, Tampa, Texas, Padres. All of those are super interesting to me, as well as Dodgers and Diamondbacks. You all have a good one. We'll be back next week. Wish you guys the best. Let's make some money. Have a great weekend. Peace.